Hey, welcome back into the Skol Purple Podcast YouTube channel. It's Carson and David here with another video. We're talking about a prospect who we got a question from recently, and that was from our guy, Malcolm Jackson. He says in the YouTube comments section on one of our videos, hey, what do you think about the Vikings drafting Deuce Vaughn out of K-State, running back, nice gadget player for KOC? And I think, before we get your thoughts, David, I actually think that is a pretty good idea. Maybe not the right word. A pretty good comparison to what he could be at the NFL, maybe. That maybe like a Tariq Cohen type. And I know we talked about this already, but maybe in that Tariq Cohen type role, I'll save your guy. I want you to have that. But I think he was very productive at college. 18 touchdowns in 2021 and over 1,400 rushing yards. He's got the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, over 450 yards receiving 2021, 4 touchdowns, over 1,500 yards rushing last year, over 5 yards a carry, 42 receptions, nearly 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's got the ability to explode at any moment on the field, and had a big 44-yard touchdown run, I believe it was, in the Big 12 championship game. He is a dynamic playmaker. What's the knock on him, you ask? He's 5'6", and that's why you get the Tariq Cohen comparison. David, what are your thoughts on Mr. Deuce Vaughn coming to the Vikings?
I think the stats are amazing, but sometimes those college stats don't equate to the NFL level. I mean, he's a smaller back. People say he's 5'6". People say he's 5'5". He's not that big, so that means he can't be an every down back. And what is that pass blocking going to look like? You know, if he's a gadget player in any kind of offense, you can kind of tip in your hat on what kind of player it's going to be, because you can't leave him in and actually block. Because if I was a defensive coordinator, I'll just blitz a linebacker at him every time. You know, he's not going to pick up a guy like Anthony Barr or Darius Smith, you know, let alone the Danielle Hunter. So
he might make a miss, though.
Yeah, he might make a miss in the open field, but you got to protect the quarterback too. That's one of the responsibilities of being a good, consistent running back. I think he's not a good fit for the Vikings because we're still waiting to see what Canadian Wongo is going to do, because that's true. Because the role that you're describing as a gadget player, that should be Kanae's role. Because as of right now, he's just a kick return guy. I think the team that he will be best suited for is a team that has a bruising running back. He can spell that running back and be a change of pace. Tennessee will be perfect for him, because that will give them something different. That will give them something different than what Derrick Henry brings. And he wouldn't have to do so much, because Derrick Henry would actually carry the load consistently with all the carries. And he would come in there, spell Derrick Henry, catch the ball out the backfield, you know, run a couple of plays. But as for the Vikings, I mean, I don't see where he fits in right as of right now. But things could change.
Here's the thing, David. If he's a day 3 guy and he's still there, and the Vikings don't have faith in Kene Nwangwu, then do you pull the trigger? Like, here's the thing with Kene. Like, obviously, really good kick returner.
Right.
We don't know what he's capable of, but the thing is, I do trust KOC enough to say that he probably knew Kene was not ready for a larger role. That's what I'm thinking anyway. But we also thought about that for Cordero Patterson. Look what he's doing now in Atlanta. So
Atlanta, Oakland, and New England, completely different player. Yeah, I mean, it depends on that coaching staff. I do believe Kevin O'Connell could make a spot for him, and you know, he could come in and do some damage. But it's just, you know, 5'6", 5'5". That's scary.
I think he hit the nail on the head, though. Malcolm Jackson did, by saying that he would be, if I can get this off, he would be a good gadget player to get him 3 to 6 type of touches a game, throw him in there, kind of add that illusion of complexity, which was a huge thing going into the year for Kevin O'Connell.
Right.
So maybe that, just having that threat of like, oh, this guy could take a jet sweep to the house if you see him go in motion, like
Right.
that type of player. Do the Vikings really have that type of player on offense outside of a Justin Jefferson? Maybe a
Right.
Jalen Reagor, if, but
If they
go
run the
ahead.
plays for him.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, how many players of his stature have been consistently successful in NFL? I think of Darren Sproles. I think of, a little bit of the smaller guys. That's even Austin Eckler. He's a small guy, but he's a little bit bigger. He
Did you
he
say
can take
Darren
a pound.
Sproles too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Darren Sproles.
Yep.
Darren Sproles, but he's a kick return guy and punt return guy. Basically a special teams guy who can do gadget plays. I would say if the Vikings do draft him in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, that means, just like you said, that means Kane's role is probably gone because you're not going to have two of the guys on the team that do the same thing.
Right.
And if one guy can actually play offensive snaps, his roster spot is more valuable.
He never did return any punts. In 2020, he had 7 kickoff returns and averaged 40 yards per kickoff return. But other than that, that's pretty much the extent of the returning stats, at least according to ESPN on Deuce Vaughn.
Right.
So he's not much of a returner, but that doesn't mean he couldn't be one. But
Right.
he wasn't much one in college. Yeah. So, yeah, I think if it's a day 3 thing, I would definitely consider it. But if it's before that, no. I think it's got to be a day 3 type of situation. And who knows if his size is a big question mark, he might not even get drafted. He might be a
Right.
UDFA, and the
Right.
Vikings could potentially sneak in there. And we've talked about this at length before, David, with Tony and with yourself. There's so many running backs now. Like there's so many guys, and if you're an undersized guy in a class that maybe has a lot of, normal sized running backs, if you will, then you're probably going to be put below them. And here's the thing too, he's ran the ball well over 600 times in his career at college. So he does have quite a bit of wear on those tires. At least from the college level, the last 3 years. But I just don't know if I could see him doing that at a high level for years to come. I think that's not probably his role at the next level.
Yeah, and a big thing with going from the collegiate level to the pros is the change of speed. You are going to see 250-pound linebackers that run just as fast as you do. So
right,
that escapability may not be as
unless they're Viking running back linebackers,
and Ed Donatel's coaching them up. And
that's right.
I mean, yeah, but you got guys like Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter is a huge guy, and if he get his hands on you, I mean, lights out.
Right.
That's it. So, I mean,
look
at
Malcolm,
Lewis, for example.
What's that?
Look at Lewis. Look at Lewis Seen, for example. Didn't Lewis Seen run like a 4.3 at the combine? And
it was pretty good.
And he's a big guy. So can you imagine that guy in an open field and Lewis Seen catches him?
Lewis Seen just clotheslines him. Boom.
Yeah. So that's a concern for me.
Yeah. No, it's true. Little hit stick on Madden and he's done. But no, Malcolm, hey, really appreciate the question. And please, if you guys have any questions related to draft prospects, related to free agents, related to anything, please put them in the comments section. We would love to do more of this, where it's you guys controlling the content and we can kind of just say, hey, that's an interesting idea. Let's talk about it, like this one with Malcolm Jackson. Really appreciate the comment, Malcolm. And that is going to do it for this video. Appreciate David joining me. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe if you would to our YouTube channel. Spread the word if you don't mind. Get some more great content in the hands of other Vikings fans as well. And as always, Skol.
Skol.